Thanks for joining me on the Listen Up Girl podcast, the LGBTQ news that you need. Before I jump into today's episode, I wanted to ask for you to please go to the description of this podcast and click on the audience survey link because it will help me plan for this show and my other show, Everything and a Bit Gay, and it takes less than 10 minutes. So thanks, everybody. I'm Zach Randles-Friedman, and this is Listen Up Girl, where LGBTQ plus culture, politics, media, and resistance intersect. Today's episode spans Hollywood backlash, queer visibility on screen, court rulings that protect trans youth, grassroots care networks in hostile states, religious resistance, drag bans, congressional attacks on trans health care, polling reality checks, and the right for LGBTQ plus families to exist without apology. So that's a lot, so let's get into it. Our first one is Netflix cancels Boots, and Miles Heizer speaks out. Actor Miles shared a lengthy and emotional statement following Netflix's highly controversial decision to cancel Boots, the gay military drama inspired by former U.S. Marine George Cope-White's memoir, The Pink Marine. On December 16th, Deadline reported that Netflix would not move forward with a second season, despite the show debuting at 9.4 million views in the first week, doubling its audience in week 2, and 4 weeks in Netflix's top 10, peaking at number 2. The show's popularity notably surged after the Pentagon publicly dismissed it as woke garbage, where Miles, who starred as Cameron Cope, responded on Instagram the following day, thanking fans for the overwhelmingly love and support. He reflected on growing up terrified of what being gay might mean for his life and how surreal it feels to now be uplifted by millions of viewers for telling a queer story. While expressing disappointment that the show won't return, Miles ended up on a note of pride, writing that both the friendships he made and being labeled woke garbage by the Pentagon are things he will cherish for the rest of his life. Next, Heated Rivalry is officially coming to the UK and Ireland. The series, created by Jacob Tierney and based on Rachel Reed's beloved Game Changers novel, will premiere on Sky and Now TV on January 10th, 2026. The story follows two professional hockey players whose intense rivalry into a secret, emotionally complex relationship. The books have earned cult status for their vulnerability, realism, and unapologetic queerness, especially in a traditionally hyper-masculine sports world. According to Deadline, multiple UK buyers pursued the series, but Comcast-backed Sky ultimately secured the deal, marking a major mainstream moment for queer sports storytelling. Our next story is Noah Schnapp responds to Byler rumors. Stranger star Noah Schnapp has finally responded to long-running fan speculation that the show's final season can include a romance between Mike and Will, known online as Byler. Appearing on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, Schnapp was asked directly about the theory. While he didn't confirm any romantic outcome, he emphasized that Will's storyline reflects a deeply common queer experience, loving someone who may love you back while quietly navigating identity. Schnapp, who came out publicly in January of 2023, has continued to praise the Duffer Brothers for exploring Will's queerness with care and authenticity as it heads towards its finale. Next, we go to New Zealand, where the High Court blocks puberty blockers. New Zealand's High Court has temporarily blocked the government's plan to ban puberty blockers for young people experiencing gender dysphoria. The ban was set to take effect December 19th, but the court intervened after the Professional Association for Transgender Health filed an urgent injunction, arguing the ban would be illegal and unethical. Justice Michelle Wilkins-Smith ruled that there was a reasonable argument that regulations were unlawful and said the potential harm to young people's mental health was far more immediate concern than any alleged physical risk. She also said there was no evidence justifying urgent action to prevent new prescriptions. Next, we go to Texas, where queer leaders build care networks where the state fails. As Texas continues rolling back LGBTQ plus protections, queer leaders across the state are building care networks where the government falls short. One advocate turned his first home into a refuge for LGBTQ plus youth with nowhere else to go. Another works to protect trans lives through education and family advocacy. Others are fighting HIV stigma and service gaps as funding disappears. These stories highlight a stark reality in hostile states. Queer survival often depends on community, not policy. And staying in Texas, Dallas Church blends faith, pride, and immigration justice. I reported on this Oak Lawn United Methodist Church in Dallas is continuing its tradition of faith-based resistance. This is the church that painted their staircase rainbow color that I reported on a few weeks back. So after it painted its steps in pride colors earlier this year, the church has unveiled a Christmas nativity scene depicting Mary and Joseph inside a immigration detention center surrounded by chain link fencing. Signs around the display read, "Holy are trans lives, holy is the refugee, and holy are unsheltered neighbors." Church leaders say the installation connects with the biblical story of displacement to the lived realities of immigrants, trans people, and unhoused communities today. Oak Lawn is my old neighborhood, and when I lived in Dallas, and I am so proud that they are doing this and fighting back. Next, Florida moves to enforce drag ban. Florida officials may now enforce a 2023 law banning minors from adult live performances after a federal appeals court ruling this week. Florida Attorney General James Uthemeier celebrated the decision on X, writing, "If you're exposing children to lewd conduct, you're on notice. We're watching, Pensacola." His comments targeted a Christmas-themed drag show, reigniting concerns that the law's vague language will be used to intimidate venues and criminalize queer expression under the guise of protecting children. The U.S. House has passed Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's so-called Protect Children's Innocent Act, which would ban and criminalize gender-affirming care for minors nationwide. The bill passed 216 to 211, with 3 Democrats joining Republicans in support. Only 4 Republicans voted against it. Though unlikely to pass the Senate, Greene touted the bill as a key Trump campaign promise. LGBTQ plus lawmakers have condemned it as a cruel and dangerous distraction from real issues facing American families. Next, we go to Representative Angie Craig on fighting for family. Representative Angie Craig of Minnesota knows what it means to stand up to bullies. For 3 years, Craig and her former partner fought Tennessee courts to retain custody of their son, Josh, after opponents argued that being gay disqualified them as parents. They won. Craig says the experience has shaped her understanding of how quickly LGBTQ plus families can become political targets and why protections remain essential. So that's your LGBTQ plus news roundup for today. Stories of resistance, resilience, backlash, and community. If this episode mattered to you, share it, rate it, and keep these conversations moving forward. Again, I'm Zach Randles-Friedman. This is Listen Up Girl Podcast. Until next time, stay loud, stay informed, and take care of each other. Thanks for listening.